How do you know what goes where?
What do you mean?
I mean, how do you know how to put all this together, and how do you know what pieces you needed to begin with?
I'm researching a lot of diagrams in the manual of the boiler and a bunch of stuff that people help me with online. So, the manual here shows a bunch of examples of how, that one has an indirect hot water heater, so that's not really appropriate for us. Most of them do, but in any case, and you'll see that they'll say, primary, secondary piping, shown, basically. So this is where I learned about how to do this sort of primary, secondary setup. And if you can't, it's not easy to see exactly how that relates to what I've got there, but the parts are largely in the same sort of order. There's at least some information that's out there in manuals and such, and then anything else I kind of had to pick up and learn from whoever else was willing to tell me what I should do. So then I just have to think in geometric terms about where my returns are coming from. They're actually going to end up coming, let's see.
You're just reminding me of those 80s cartoons where there was always one geek character who was the one character with glasses and would always really casually muse upon something that was completely over everyone else's heads, and then just poof, something absolutely magic would happen and no one else knew what the heck he did.
Well, that sounds a little bit like me here. I'll take it. Right?
Yes. When I was a kid, I wanted glasses because I wanted to be the smart one.
Ah, yes. See.
And, the cartoons had led me to believe that if you had glasses, you were smart.
Cartoons have all sorts of iconography that doesn't necessarily always line up with reality. But glasses, I don't know. I think they do help. So once I get the copper pipes set up, which are pretty rigid and they don't really want to be anywhere but where they need to be, then I'm going to have to route all of these PEX plastic pipes, which are a lot more flexible, into them in a way that hopefully looks a little better than Mr. Octopus as it is at current. And has enough clearance from these other hot pipes that they're not going to melt or anything. Yeah, so I'm about to embark on another soldering set, basically, where I have to set everything up carefully and then advance along it with the heat so that I make the best use of my torch and of everything else, and so that it all then cools off together. Yeah, that's the next step.
Are you going to do all of these projects in your bathrobes?
As many as possible. I like my bathrobe. And again...
Well, I'm glad, because I bought you that bathrobe.
It also gives me the illusion that, again, I'm just puttering about the house. Nothing serious here.
As you wait.
I'm trying to drill holes for 2 vent pipes for the boiler through the sill plate of the house, which is very thick, very old wood.
It's a not insubstantial hole saw.
Right. So, getting this one to the proper length and making sure that this will clear the little sill here. And this is going to be the exhaust. It's got to go up about 18 inches and then over. This one I still have to connect on the inside, but I'm going to end up using this little stub to make sure it's going to be long enough on the inside, and then I'll trim this to length. And then this one just bends over a little bit. This one I should be able to complete today. This one I'll have to order some lengths for. Just some very short little lengths, which luckily won't take much. So, then that'll complete the venting. So, today I am going to try to fill the whole radiator system with water, get out all the air, and then if that works with no leaks anywhere, then I'm going to try to fire up the boiler and actually test the system for heating and see if it works. So, first is going to be to fill the system and bleed the air off, which I have to do starting at the boiler itself. There's a bleed valve inside, and then at every radiator. The last little bits are going to get off by this automatic air bleeder, which is on here, air vent. But this is not going to be able to get out most of the air in the system because that air is going to, of course, be up there, not down here in each radiator. And so I have to bleed each one of those things. And but I have to start inside the boiler itself. And this has got, look, 4 wonderful steps. System, water fill, purge, and test. 4 steps. They take up this much space on the page, and they'll probably take up most of my day. About right now, 9.9, occasionally popping to 10%.
So tell me more about what's going on.
So I'm doing the combustion analysis on the boiler, trying to fine-tune the burner to be exactly right in terms of combustion efficiency. So I've now set the high point for the max burner, and now I'm going to set the low point when the burner is on low. And we're adjusting the gas flow at these ends so that we end up with a good combustion, good burn. We're not wasting any energy, and we're not creating any soot and junk that might eventually clog up components in the boiler. So this. So after months of working on the boiler system, now it's been operating for the last, just about 3 months, and it's been doing very, very well. The final parts of the project involved cleaning up some of this piping, making things a little bit better, and then the final bit was working out that the vent up there started to slosh when it was operating at very high levels, and I had to tilt that vent and make everything drain a little bit better and end up right down the drain. Oh, look who's here. So, look at that. We have another kitty greeting us here. 3 kitties all together. Okay. So, this was a very complicated system to set up, but once it's working, you can just pretty much leave it alone, and it's very quiet, and it does a great job of heating the house with all the original radiators in all the original places, and it is just remarkable how well designed a lot of the old system was to circulate water nicely. Oh, listen to you, huh? Are you complaining? Is it not warm enough for you? Or is it just that you want attention? You want attention. Yes, that's right. Another part of the last bit of the installation process was securing all of these pipes to the walls using a lot of this heavy-duty industrial channel. Yes, you can sharpen your claws on my leg. I suppose that's okay. So the original expansion tank is still up here, where it was with the old boiler. And I didn't use it, but I also didn't bother taking it out. It can stay up there. Maybe eventually I'll tie it in and use it for something. Who knows? I'm sure it has a function for me. But otherwise, everything here works very well. It has all the little bits and pieces that I worked out and engineered together to make it all function as a system. Even the stuff that I had to pretty much guess on, like the pump here, has been operating just fine on the lowest possible setting because this system was designed to circulate under gravity alone originally. And so it doesn't need much of a pump to push the water around. And the new expansion tank has worked very well. The gauges and everything have operated well to tell me what's going on. And I haven't had to touch it since I balanced everything for the most part. It's been a very low maintenance and a surprisingly effective system, especially given how amateur I am at setting things up. But it's been remarkably not a headache.
Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed these videos. If you did, remember to give them a nice thumbs up. And, above all, don't forget to tell your friends about my books. Happy reading!